This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with Violent Gentlemen. We're glad to say we've got some bad Sally back. Kevin Cronin.
What's happening?
All is good yourself. You knew it was coming. If anybody obviously watched their interview with Leonard, obviously reviewing Alicante show, you avoided an interview the other day because you wanted to catch up on the real Sun.
Just a quick top up, yeah.
Quick top up. Was it Dominic that learned you obviously the sort of the tricks of the trade, sort of rather than paying for the sunbeds to go out and lie in the sun?
Yeah, the cheaper way about it. The Kevin way.
The Calvin way of things, definitely. Obviously, we're now a week on from your fourth fight. You obviously fought in Alicante last weekend. Obviously, first and foremost, what did you think? Did you watch? I know, funny, in anything I've seen, you were actually as if you watched every other fight in the card. So I guess there's probably not much you could do other than watch boxing or go and eat.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was. I didn't know when they said I knew Boxing Ireland had their own way they wanted kind of the fights happening, and I would have been later on the card, so I was happy enough to be late in the card because it suited me. And next in the Spanish was a KO boxing, whoever the Spanish crowd with him was, came up to him and said this is the way they wanted it. When I was looking, there was like it went from the heaviest to the lowest at the end of the night, so it just went with weight, and that was the way they wanted it. So I was up first. So I would have probably rather be on later, but you know what, it was nice too to get it out of the way and be able to sit down and just have a few drinks or whatever and watch a bit of boxing.
Yeah, I guess sometimes, like when you are on later on, it's you get distracted and obviously watching other fights and obviously seeing everybody else around. Whereas when you're in at the start, you can then sort of mingle around and get everybody else sort of prepared rather than going, I still have to fight here. I'm itching. I can't wait to get into action. Whereas you were out at the start, get over and done with, and sit back and relax and enjoy the rest of the night.
Yeah, it was hard to judge time as well because we didn't know when they were actually going to call us. So went 3. It was meant to kick off at like 3 or something. Then he came in and he said, they needed 2 boxes wrapped up for the next 2 fights in case of a knockout. And then they said, you're going to have to wait 20 minutes. And we were warmed up. So then we had to kind of just keep warm. And then they came in again. They said, look, it'll be 10 minutes, definitely 10 minutes. And it was pushed back like that for about half an hour then. So it was hard to judge it. It would have been worse if I wasn't warm at all. But, it's very hard to judge the first fight. At least if you were the second fight and you knew I was going into the ring, you'd be kind of like, right, so this could be 20 minutes or this could be 2 minutes. And then you'll be able to judge off that. So you'll be able to get warm and stay warm. But it was hard enough to judge the time with being the first fight. But new experience, I suppose. I'm not used to being first in the card, so it was something new. Definitely
start for the best. Obviously, start with the best, and obviously work the way down. That's the way you sort of look at it.
Exactly. Now we have
it. You sort of obviously you've sort of been critical of your sort of self since, and obviously saying that you weren't feeling obviously 100%, and it was sort of like a rush camp. How long did you? Obviously, I know with COVID and everything else. I guess at the minute it's been very hard to plan, particularly in the likes of Spain, because we don't know from one moment to the next what may happen if it could turn to a red zone and you couldn't go. So how long did you sort of get to train properly for Alicante?
Yeah, well, look, like everyone else, I'm training all year round. I'm out running, we're doing our training. But the thing is, when you you have a fight coming up, you step it up, and that's when I started upping my sparring and everything, And I had very little sparring done, to be honest with you, if any, for coming up to about 4 weeks before the fight. I was away. As Leonard said, I was in Sligo. There's a big fire training centre up there, and we were up there for a couple of weeks. And to be honest with you, I actually I didn't think I was going to be on in Spain. I knew there was a poster and stuff there, so I said, I knew that the option was there, but I was kind of saying, I don't have the time, now to step it up after this training, because I thought when I went up to Sligo that I'd be able to get some spar. And Leonard had sparring and everything organised, we're going getting sparring. I said, we'd just train the morning, train the evening, but I didn't think the training would be what we were doing above there, we're going into buildings on fire, doing stuff, train like that. In the evening time, and I'd train really after anything, but you couldn't. Your body was absolutely battered after it. There was no training to be done. I think there was about 2 or 3 days up there. I tried pushing out a bit of a weight session or something. None of them I actually ended up finishing because I was so burnt out. But then when it was over, I kind of, the weekend it finished, I relaxed a bit because I need the body to recover, and all that. And the next thing, I was talking with John and my coach, and he said we can, really give it one good push now. For it was 4 weeks to the fight, so basically a good push for 3 weeks, and then I do a bit of weight cutting and stuff in the last week because we knew we were going to be very tight because my weight goes up, in between fights, like the way up. But anyway, we gave it a good push. Got about 3 spars in, trained hard for 3 weeks, but it was still a good bit overweight in with the week out of fight. So I was cutting weight. I was in the sauna suit, so I just cutting a bit of weight, and came in under the weight in, but not in great condition or anything like that. But look, I didn't look. I don't want to use it as an excuse because watching back the fight, it wasn't a shite performance. For anyone watching in, I don't think it was a good fight to watch. But just for me, knowing what I can do, the problem was, I know if I went in with the training camp, let's say that I had for Luxembourg, I was sharp and I could have won 10 rounds if needed. If I went in with that, I could have just boxed. I think I could just box the head off your man at range, but it was just that the ring fitness really wasn't 100%. So the timing wasn't exactly there. The first round, you could see I found my jab, but then the shoulders, just that extra bit of weight, and the weight, my shoulders started dropping and my guard started going low. And I was talking to my coaches, and you could see it as well. My hands were dropping, which doesn't usually happen with me. But they were just dropping out of tiredness, and I was just kind of exhausted. But you know what? It was still a good little fight, and it was nice. It was nice to get hit back a bit and made work for the win. Even if my fitness wasn't 100% there, I'd still take a lot more from that fight than I will from my first 3 fights, just because I was made dig my way out of a situation in the second round where I might and mightn't have got that round. So it was looking back at it, it was a good position to be in. I'm not going to complain about my performance. Obviously, I know I could do 20 times better than it, but what about it? It is what it is, and I got the win, and that's all that matters.
Yep, and the good thing as well is obviously, you don't want to go over there to Alicante and sort of have an opponent like you had in Luxembourg where you sort of blow them away. You want to obviously get the rounds in, because the rounds are important, because let's face it, you don't know when you might be out again, so them 4 rounds could be crucial, and sort of keeping you mentally sort of prepared for next performances. Obviously, the card in itself, watching it online and things, it looked superb. Like, I'm guessing obviously it was good to have a few fans and stuff back there as well.
Yeah, it was nice. Well, look, to be honest with you, I didn't even attempt to bring any of my fans over because I knew there'd just be so much attached to it, with everyone having to get tested and just between hotels and all the tests they need and everything like that. And I just said I didn't really want the hassle of it. And there was only something like, it was 100 fans allowed in. And I said, you know what, let's just go, and I'm just going to treat it like a behind closed doors fight. I'm going to go over there and I'm just going to have one last fight without my fans and crowd there, and hopefully then the next time we're out that things will have eased down and fans will just be able to come as they please, and that'll be very exciting then to have the fans back. But there was just a bit too much hassle trying to get everyone over and everything like that, so I just didn't even advertise tickets for it, to be honest.
Yep, and sometimes, say with PCR tests going out and coming back and everything else, it becomes nearly as if you're going to Vegas or something like that. The costs involved, But I guess since like last time you've had fans, obviously at a show, the next, you probably don't realize obviously how much you've grown as a fighter, since your second fight moving on. When it comes to obviously getting tickets again, you're going to go, how many do I get? You sort of have to speculate for more, and then you go, is that enough? Because you're very popular on social media. Obviously, you're nearly doing interviews nearly on a daily basis at times, but you're getting your name out there, so you're doing everything right. Obviously, which leads on to obviously your dream of where you want to fight. So you're doing everything in your power to get a fight at the IMEC. So you're delivering everything you need to do. Just obviously, it's getting a few more fights under the way first of all.
Basically, that's it. And look, I'm begging the experience, Joe. I had a 4-rounder in Dublin and a good card. I got a 4-rounder in York Hall. The one Dublin didn't win to the start of the 4th round, and I got the stoppage, so I didn't get the full 4 rounds. got the full 4 rounds in York Hall. And then I had the 6 rounder in Luxembourg, and that went three full rounds. So yeah, it was the end of the 3rd round, then that was stopped. And then full 4 rounds there the last day. So yeah, I've got 3 4-rounders and 1 6-rounder under my belt, and one good full camp and get an 8-rounder. I want to keep bagging that experience, and get better and better. And I'm going to feel what it's like. Then, I like, it's not a lot of people like getting the stoppage, and it's nice to get the stoppage. But to be honest with you, I like the rounds. I wanted, going over to Luxembourg, I wanted the full 6 rounds. I want to win on points. You gain away more experience from going the full distance than stopping someone, because we can all land a shot and stop someone. And obviously there's different ways you can stop people. You pick them apart with your shots and all that, and that's all experience too, building experience. But I'd still rather get the full rounds, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I guess sometimes when people's looking at potential opponents, like, there'll come a stage where you're obviously going to get offered a fight somewhere as an away fighter, and they'll look at your record and go, Kevin Cronin can't punch, because they're not seeing any stoppages. So you can sort of work out in your favour, and then you get a big fight, you just, land the right hook, and it's lights out, and you're going, where did he learn to punch from? You're sort of manipulating your stats. They help obviously for future, get the experience in early, no stoppages. People think you're pillow fisted, and then you hit them, and it's like, all right, now we realise, what's going on here. You're cheating the game.
That's why I can't wait for these 50-50 fights, because I perform at my best the better fighter that's in front of me. And if I'm at full fitness, someone's in front of me, in a 50-50 fight, and they're coming to win too. And obviously I know I can pack a lot of power into a punch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's them 50-50 fights is where you see all the stoppages coming. Even though I can't say much, I've got my stoppages. I've half my wins are by stoppage now at this stage. So, but still, I think that's when you'll see the real the cream kind of rise, and and you'll see who's got power and who's got talent, and speed and technique and timing and everything like that is them 50-50 fight. That's why I can't wait for them, because even in sparring and everything, the better opponent I spar, the better I perform, And as I said in an interview with Irish Boxing, I'm not a 4-round fighter. It's not something I'm saying just because of the last day. I've said it since after my debut. I said, I'm not a 4-round fighter. I warm into my fights. Probably round 3, I start actually, the cogs start turning in the engine, to be honest with you. And it's not me just saying it. Watch all my fights, and it's clear and visible. Round 3, I go up a gear. And then what I'm just trying to explain to people is round 4, round 5, round 6. I keep going up the gears, but look, the only way I'm proving that to people is by someone bringing you to them rounds and being able to show you then that,
So you're sort of disappointed when the bell goes at the end of the 4th round. You're going, come on, let's do one more round. It's like going to a nightclub and it's the end of the night and it's like last tune. They're going, one more tune. You're going, come on, ref, give us another round. I've just warmed up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and look, in my career, and not blowing my own trumpet, but I'm supposed to blow my own trumpet. But anyway, I think you'll see a lot of my stoppages in round 5, round 6, because I come in like a train in them rounds, even in sparring. I've got a good engine in me for the later rounds, and I could throw less in the earlier rounds and feel it on the tank more, but throw double the amount I threw in the earlier rounds in the later rounds and feel it less. It's strange. It's just the way my engine works, and obviously we have to work on that, and we are working on that, and it's getting better that I am able to work harder in the first, in the opening rounds, but still able to work harder again in the later rounds. So look, it's good to have something there to work with, and it'll
definitely is. And like
year on out, while the rounds go up, it's going to be very, it's going to be very, very handy to have that now.
And like looking at the card as well, I know obviously you didn't get to see Julio's fight because I think it was on straight after yours, but you had sort of 2 other guys in around the same weight class, obviously fighting in the same card. Julio, obviously, I think he probably could have stopped within 10 seconds of the first round. He got hit by a massive shot, never recovered. And obviously Robert Burke, obviously fighting for the first time, obviously in Europe, obviously going back. Did you see any of Robert's fight, or have you seen any of the two other fights since? Because I guess, like, you know, you look at the competition there is there. There's obviously yourself, Julio, Robert Burke, Sean McGlinchey, Jamie Morrissey, and then obviously you have Taylor McGoldrick, obviously with MTK. But there's so much competition for fights and stuff there. Did you sort of have a look at them to see if there's anything they can sort of offer to you?
No, I haven't looked at the fights yet. I'll probably have a look. Some of you know I am going to have a look at them. I'm not going to say I'm not going to look at them. I will look at them. But no, I haven't looked at them because, you know, until these fights are really mentioned to me or being made, then that's when I kind of look into these fighters. But look, as you say, there's so many of them there. One loss, that's someone pushed back, wind or pushed forward, you know, so we don't know who we're going to end up meeting yet. You might know better than me. I was actually only saying this the last day. I know everyone's talking about the Celtic title and all that, but I think I'm the only one that has a 6-rounder.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Now, don't take my word, Joe. I don't know. So it's obviously not. We're not going to be fighting for any title in our next fight because if no one else has the 6-rounder, they're not going to be eligible to fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why I'm going to push up to 8, and I hope someone that get a good tough opponent that'll bring the 8 and make me work for 8, so I can see judge my tank for the 8 and see where I'm able to push on harder and where I should be holding back and everything like that, and build the experience there. So then I'll have the upper hand again when it does come to a Celtic title, which would be 8 rounds, or an Irish title, which would be 10 rounds. I'll be able to, I'll know my body and I'll know what pace to set in a fight. And obviously we're doing these rounds, and sparring and stuff, but there's different paces and sparring and fights and different things that work differently. So I just want to be able to have all the, while I am not saying ahead, I'm way ahead of everyone, but while I have that 6-rounder and I'm kind of ready for it, everyone else needs to get that 6-rounder or whatever they need to do, or maybe they want to wait a few fights, I don't know. But I want to get, I'll try to get that extra bit ahead again by getting that 8-rounder, and even maybe at the end of the year, let's say, look, obviously I'll have to get an 8-rounder, I'm in an 8-rounder first, but if all goes well, then maybe even get a 10-rounder, and see how a 10-rounder goes, and then I'll have that experience for the Irish title fight then, so I'm just trying to get as far ahead as possible and build the experience while I can.
Yep, and sort of, when you're looking at the competitiveness is there and everything else, it's hard not to sort of keep your eyes sort of peeled on it, but you would sort of, where you're saying where you've were scheduled to fight a 6-rounder, you're already eligible for the Celtic title. But obviously it's the rest of them getting there. So it's sort of just the case at the moment, you're going, well, until one of them fight a 6-rounder, it's of no real interest, because you want it to be for a title at the very least.
Yeah, well, I'm easy, but what's the point? The title's vacant. What is the point in having that fight without a title? Whatever fight it is, I'm not saying Robert Burke, I'm not saying Julio, I'm not saying Taylor or Sean, John or Jamie. I'm not mentioning any names because it could be anyone. There's no point in even lying about it. We're not going to end up fighting all of each other. I'm not going to end up fighting all these guys. Being realistic, 1 or 2 is probably what it's going to be, because if we go straight into an Irish title, you're hardly going to go back and fight another one of them for the Celtic title after you win the Irish title. If you fight one for a Celtic title and win, and then maybe fight another for an Irish title, then that's 2 of them, and then it's probably going to be max 2, of that bunch. So, but you just don't know who it's going to be, because you just don't know who it's going to be at this stage, because what, everyone's saying they want the title, but until they're put in front of you, you don't know who it's going to be.
And I guess sometimes as well, like obviously we've seen, Ultimate Boxer and things like that become successful in England. Obviously, Stephen Donnelly obviously went over and, is the first Irish winner and stuff. I think the last real one they had it on. But you'll sort of keep your sort of eye on opportunities that may arise for something like that, and obviously, great exposure and TV exposure and everything else. I think it'll potentially end up in Sky now as well, because I think the Ultimate Boxer have teamed up with Sky. So that could potentially be something that's thrown as a banana skin to you next year and going, Kevin, do you want to go in the Ultimate Boxer? It's something that could happen.
Yeah, and my team know it now, Stephen and Leonard, they know it now that I love these. I'm living for these bigger fights, I want to fight the bigger names, it's exciting now because the domestic scene is getting going. But I was to be honest with you, I was so easy about the domestic scene. I didn't, there were these, the Celtic title things, they weren't really appealing to me. And I said to my coach, and to be very honest, I'm just going to say it, they weren't appealing to me at all, because I was kind of, at one stage, I was the only guy in the weight, no one else was there. And I was like, I don't really want this Celtic title anyway, let's look. I was looking at European level guys and world level guys that I might be able to step up and take a chance and fight, which I still am, but now at least there's a bit of hype going around the domestic scene again. So if them fights come up, and if a bigger fight comes up, but yeah, I'm living for them types of fights. They're like, an ultimate, if something came up for the ultimate boxer, light heavyweight, I'd jump on that too. I'd really jump on that, because obviously I'm kind of trying to build myself in the UK a bit as well. And that'd be another step over there as well, because boxing's going so good in the UK right now. With you've DAZN as well now, you've Fight Zone, and so many big cards over there. But and so many Irish over there as well. But look, I can't even remember what the question is, but I'm living for them big fights.
I was more to do with my boxer. Obviously, I know your dream obviously is to fight at IMEC, but obviously you're going to have sort of big fights and stuff there. There's probably, I know Leonard's always been, with the Celtic class shows, there's always been looking to fight in-house fights, and obviously Irish title fights and stuff like that. There could even be obviously the potential of obviously doing a tournament if people are at that stage. It's obviously making it appealing to everybody as well. But it's great to see obviously that so many Irish fighters obviously that are in the same weight class and the competitiveness there. It's something to look forward to, I guess.
Yeah, it opens doors 100%. The job definitely does open doors, and it makes all these bigger fights so much more. How would I say it, John? I can't even get the word into my head, but they can happen now, them bigger fights, because the fights are there. But the IMEC, we're in talks about it. There is talks about it between me and the lads. Obviously, I have to keep winning, and I have to keep proving myself, that I'm at a good level, and that I'm progressing and getting better, and I've been proving it so far. So they're happy with that side of things. But yeah, hopefully we'll get to see that very soon. Haven't looked at who I'll be fighting there or what we'll be fighting for or anything like that. But then again, that's why I'm building the experience again. Get the 8-rounders, get the 10-rounders, but they're all must-win fights. So one loss, you can't afford one loss. Like, I can afford, with my career, I can afford a loss, to come back and bounce back. The same as any champion has. But for, let's say, this INEC fight, I can't really afford to lose my next fight or two or anything like that.
Definitely. And when are you looking at getting back out again?
Look, hopefully I'll get in that Belfast card in October. I'll have a chat with the lads. I think I'll get on it all right, and I'd love to get an 8-rounder on it, but I'd love to try get out. I was actually saying it to Steve Sharp there. I was asking about the Fight Zone cards. I subscribed to them a couple of weeks ago, and I've been watching them, and they're unbelievable. Like, they're as good as the Sky shows, with the setup and everything. And I was saying, look, any chance, try to get me. I said, I'll take any fight on that, and going back and basically going into a full-time camp now again till the end of the year, or whenever, because I plan to just get loads of fights. So from Monday on, I'm back 100% sparring 3 times a week and get myself back into tip-top shape. So look, I said to him, if he can, I'd love to get on one of them Fight Zone cards between here and October. So hopefully he can pull something out of the bag there and get me on one of them. I'd love that. But
your phone's on and you're ready to answer a call. You just need to call you and give you some good news.
Yeah, look, I'm game. Like, Stephen rang me a couple of weeks ago with a fight offer against. I'm trying to think of his name. He's I think he's ranked like 100 in the world or something like that, light heavyweight from Germany. And his last fight, he had fought for the IBO international or intercontinental title, and he lost 10 points. And but anyway, he was a very good guy, and I said straight away, like I said, give me 5 minutes. Let me just have a chat with Jano, my coach, and Jano wanted me kind of get more info and see what the crack was. Basically, I was saying I want the fight, and they they were trying to talk me out of it. They were just saying, look, obviously they're looking at the domestic route now, Joe, to keep pushing things domestic and try to get this IMEC fight. And they said, look, this went on for a full day, Joe. This wasn't in one conversation. I was very stubborn. I was basically the full day saying, no, I want this, Joe, let me fight, and this, let me fight him. It was in August, and you can ask Stephen yourself, like, this is 100% the truth, Joe. They kept bringing me, Joe, with different options. Oh, you know, maybe we'll do this. And I was like, no, I'll fight this guy that you just said to me there. And this is over a couple of phone calls. But look, in the finish, we came up with kind of a plan and route to go. And once we travel that route, we'll go back, and then I'll ask them, you know, we kind of came to a deal where we'll finish this route that we talked about, and we'll go back and we'll get you that fight against that guy. That you should take that fight easy, and then we'll have a good fight.
And I guess sometimes that's why you have a promoter. Obviously, if you just focus on the fight and they sort of look at the plan and where they want to take you, you know, just have to sort of trust in the process. You know, it's like you'll fight anybody, but obviously it's your promoters are there to make the decisions for you in terms of if it's feasible on the plan they have, because, you know, they want you to go to the top as much as you do yourself, and it's making sure that they can obviously advise in the right way, so you take a right fight at the right time.
Yeah, and I definitely am making their job easy, because they obviously have to, if they get an offer, they have to mention it to me, you know, and me being me, I'm taking whatever fight offer. The same as that time I was offered to fight Taylor McGoldrick. It was one phone call. Yeah, John, yeah, we're taking it. Obviously, that would have happened if that whole card didn't fall through, and but like, it's the same thing. They rang about that guy, and yeah, 100%. And look, they could ring me with any light heavyweight anywhere ranked in the world once they're above me, Joe, even if they were ranked number 5 in the morning, and he'd have the same argument with me, probably trying to talk me out of it, and I'd be saying, yeah, let's take it. It's just the way I am, Joe. As I said to you earlier, I'm living for these bigger fights, and they're the fights I want to be in, because they're the fights where you can just prove everyone that thinks you're around to fight journeyman and things like that. Just prove them, you know, that you're at a decent level, you know, you're at a very good level, and you know, try to prove that I'm worthy of being called a prospect.
Yep, definitely. But look, obviously, we know it's obviously Saturday evening, and obviously we can still see the sun shining there in the background. So we'll let you get back in. Obviously,
you were saying about hurrying me on because you want to get to the pub or something.
No pub. I'm teetotal. But look, obviously, well, thank you, obviously, once again. I think it's maybe the 3rd or 4th. So you're sort of becoming like a VIP sort of on the channel. So you're always open for a chat. If every boxer was like you and keeping themselves approachable and obviously doing interviews, you know, I'd probably never have a minute to myself. So
I know, but if you offered every boxer the same money you're giving me to interview me, then they'd probably be taking it.
I knew you would try a comeback somewhere. I knew it had to come in there somewhere. But look, Fireman Sam, it's been lovely chatting with you again. I'm sure we'll have our usual banter as we do on a daily basis. We'll catch up again soon.
Nice one.
All right, Kev. Cheers, take care. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.